Who is Garry Conille? Garry Conille is a person who has taken a very, very difficult job right now in the Western Hemisphere among all the leaders, the political leaders right there. Garry Conille is the Prime Minister, current Prime Minister of Haiti, who has been appointed by the Presidential Council. Garry Conille is a gynecologist, practiced gynecologist, who has been the Latin America Regional Director for UNICEF. He has been out of Haiti for quite some time, decades, because he has been a technocrat, basically. He has also been a prime minister in Haiti for 4 months. Then they got into an altercation with the then president, and then he decided to resign and left the office for someone else because he did not want to be implicated in corruption. So Garry Conille has been accepted by Haitians, has also been accepted by gang leaders. Barbecue came out and said Garry Conille is a good person, is a person who would steer Haiti to greatness. If at all, he would, quote unquote, come to dialogue with the gangs and the gang leadership there. Well, Garry Conille is in a position right now to change Haiti, and of course, everyone loves him, and someone opined that it is he is because he's first coming into a job, and everyone says, this guy is good, this guy is good. But as time goes on, I'm sure Garry Conille is going to create enemies. Whether he's going to create enemies in the country, outside the country, the MSS forces, it is subject to how he's going to conduct everything. So far, so good. Garry Conille is leaning very much with the MSS forces and the Haitian police. By the way, the first thing that Garry Conille did when he went to Haiti, when he became prime minister, is to meet the widows of slain police officers in a show of unity with the then or the current people who have been affected by the gangs. Garry Conille has won the hearts of many Haitians, and the Haitians are supporting Garry Conille to be a person who will change them, who will change the country, who will change the history of this nation. He has also been lauded by President Biden. He has been lauded by the US leadership to be a person who will effect change in Haiti. Well, this person is not a politician per se. Garry Conille is sort of a policymaker. He's a person who will sit in offices and make sure that we have good policies that will run in Haiti. He's the person at the helm of the job right now. And by the way, when he was going to the US the other day, he didn't even waste time to start asking the Presidential Council that he wants to go to the US and do this and this. He texted them in the middle of the night and said that I am going to the US to do this and this. So he's a person who seems to be focused. When he was asked, why are you taking this job? He answered that, if not me, then who else? If not now, then when? So this is a person who is dedicated to make sure that Haiti gets back on its feet. And so far, Barbecue has asked to have a dialogue with him. Of course, as the saying goes, you don't negotiate with terrorists. But then, some people are saying that at some point in time, you really have to relax, but at the same time, you have to also to consider the kind of precedents that you will be setting when you negotiate with a person like Barbecue. So Garry Conille is at the cusp of history in Haiti to make sure that Haiti prospers, to make sure that Haiti is looked as a different country right now and years to come. And that is Garry Conille.